Welcome to the Government News Brief for Tuesday, November 10, 2015. In the news, Guyana is intensifying its efforts to stamp out human trafficking, new agricultural frontiers being explored, and a report on the collation. These and more on this edition of the Government News Brief. I am Azim Khan. For years, Guyana has been cited for not doing enough to address human trafficking. The country remains on the Tier 2 list. The coalition government is working to improve Guyana's ranking, starting with strengthening the Trafficking in Persons Department of the Ministry of Social Protection, as we hear in the Seneca Thorne report.
For 3 consecutive years, Guyana has been placed on the Tier 2 watch list of Trafficking in Persons report. Now the government, through the Ministry of Social Protection, is intensifying its efforts to improve Guyana's ranking. In addition to visiting tip hotspots and rescuing several persons, the ministry plans to strengthen its anti-human trafficking unit.
I'm going to look at the structure. We're definitely going to restructure. There's not a tip unit. There were 3 persons that are there, and tip is a huge responsibility, and you have to have a structured unit. You have to have a unit well laid out and persons with different roles and responsibilities so that one would not be burned out. So it is not somebody just come to work and do something regular and then you get a complaint, you go there, you conduct a raid, you come back, you go to the police, then you come back, you go to the hospital and all, then you got to get the information. I ask for the statements that was taken, you don't take a statement. You have to build a unit, and the first thing, if you have a complaint or you have a child, you have a survivor, you have a raid, you are the unit is the first person to be trained. When you go to the police to determine I have an alleged or suspected victim of trafficking, or if it is rape or what, because you'll be the first person to interact and to take a statement, and you will be trained to get the kind of evidence to determine if it is an alleged victim or not.
The ministry will also be heightening its awareness campaign on TIP countrywide. The first stage of this process is to ensure that persons from a very young age become aware of this issue.
I have a draft project also that we'll be working in collaboration with the Ministry of Education in terms of the sensitization and awareness in the schools, because we know that girls from age 11 to 17, they're targeted. So that is something also that is on the table before me right now. So, but as soon as we have the whole structure, the kind of staff and all that, definitely we're going to put that information out there.
Since the TIP legislation was enacted 10 years ago, very little implementation has been done. It is the intention of the coalition government to strengthen the legislation and have full implementation. Seneca Thorne reporting.
Seneca Thorne now reports on efforts to take homeless off the streets. This is one arm of a multi-pronged approach to clean up Guyana. Here is Seneca Thorne.
The government intends to take all homeless persons off the streets. A special welfare committee set up will implement the program.
They are presently at the stage where they have done their preliminary investigations, and they're at the stage where they're preparing a budget. They're going to budget what it would cost to take these persons off the streets. And there are some challenges there, because one of the things is that first there must be an evaluation, because you have various persons out there. You have the addicted, you have the mentally challenged, you have the homeless, you have people who are destitute, and you have people who just see it as an economic means.
This committee is chaired by Major General retired Joseph Singh. It comprises persons from the Ministry of Social Protection, Public Health, Public Security, Agriculture, and the Mayor and City Council.
A total evaluation must be done with each one of those persons. They're trying as far as possible to have the families involved. After that, we will have to look at capacity within the health sector to be able to take on those persons that they must attend to. And also for us in the social protection, while we have the Palms Geriatric Home, which is bursting at its seam, we also have the Hugo Chavez Center, where we do have spaces available for persons, but that has a different objective. Those are persons who we can rehabilitate and put back into society and so on. And so we have some challenges in terms of that. But we're waiting to see what the budget will look like, and then the ministries, we're going to look to see at whether we will do it by a percentage, or whether we're going to take it by areas, or what would be the decision of the committee after that budget is completed. But the government is working on that.
Taking the homeless off the street is one aspect of the multi-pronged approach the government has employed to restore Guyana. Seneca Thorne reporting.
The government is exploring ways to increase Guyana's agricultural output. In this regard, attention is now being placed on the potential of the hinterland region. Shanta Gobadan reports.
The government is looking for new avenues to expand the agriculture sector, and attention has turned to the hinterland. According to Agriculture Minister Noel Holder, this drive is being fueled not only by the need to expand agriculture, but to do so in a way that takes into account climate change.
Guyana's drainage system is at its best 2 inches in 24 hours on the sugar estates, and in Georgetown about 1.5 inches in 24 hours. As you can see, with rainfall of that nature, you will flood. There's nothing you can do. You couldn't possibly put in enough pumps to drain 10 inches in 24 hours. It can't happen. So climate change is beginning to affect Guyana in a big way. So we really have to shift our economic base inland. And that is the main thrust of the agricultural program.
The intermediate savannas and the Rupununi in Region 9 hold large potential. The government is aiming to make Guyana the #1 source of agriculture produce for the region. This will reduce significantly the Caribbean's $4 billion annual food import bill. Already, investors in Brazil, Guyana's neighbor to the south and the southwest, has indicated its willingness to invest in the intermediate and Rupununi savannas.
The Brazilians have shown a lot of interest. I think some of them would like to start as early as late this year, if possible, right, on the intermediate savannas. So they have been interested. What the country does need, however, to really launch a massive agricultural investment drive is we need to have our entire country soil mapped. So we know exactly what areas are best suited for what kind of crops. Other countries have done it. Belize comes to mind. And they have taken off in terms of agricultural investment.
The government is now working to have feasibility studies completed, while consultations with other possible investors are ongoing. Shanta Goberdan reporting.
Still on development, the Minister of Finance is optimistic that the economy will pick up by December.
Things appear to be picking up based on some amount of statistical evidence and some amount of anecdotal evidence. Anecdotal in the sense that in speaking to the average man in the street, the taxi driver and so on, they've been telling me, well, things are picking up. They're not saying business good, but they say things better than a month or two before. And I perhaps may attribute that to the fact that the government is now almost 6 months in power, and it shows that it means business.
Several factors have contributed to the slowdown in the economy. The government believes that the political instability prior and during the elections may have contributed to this.
When you have political instability or a political situation that is not normal, people do several things. One, they hold back on their investment. You postpone decisions that you would have made. You tend to hold on your money. Some capital flight takes place, and that people trying to get out the money just in case. So you have all of that. And unlike a tap where you can turn on and turn off with ease, when people make those decisions, it takes a while after political stability returns for those economic decisions now to be reversed.
According to a World Bank overview of Guyana, real growth of Guyana's gross domestic product is projected to fluctuate within the range of 3% to 5% during 2015 to 2018. Economic activities will be driven by continued investments in primary industries, while potential offshore and hydro energy projects may also attract foreign investment and further boost growth.
Let us now turn attention to the collation. Almost 9 months ago on February 16, APNU and AFC announced their intention to contest the 2015 elections as a collation. Today, that collation has developed into a close working relationship, as we hear in this Shanta Gobadan report.
The Commingsburg Accord, which brought the APNU and the AFC together to contest the 2015 national and general elections, has become a true working partnership. According to Prime Minister and First Vice President Moses Nagamutu, there is a broad sharing of the responsibilities of government.
We have gone beyond the scope of the Commingsburg Accord, that major responsibilities have now been thrust, or I would say entrusted to me as Prime Minister. I consult very regularly with subject ministers on their area of competence. I do not interfere, but if they need my help and my guidance, I am always available to speak with them. We are all colleagues, we are partners, and we are in this together.
It is believed by both the APNU and the AFC that the partnership has done well and continues to be of significant benefit to the country. Nagamutu said the members bring a wealth of experience to craft developmental policies and initiatives for the development of the country.
The President has also entrusted to me the chairmanship of another cabinet subcommittee that deals with the green economy, the conceptualization and development of a national development plan that has a futuristic, a 2030 focus. And though I'm not an economist, though I'm not an economic planner, I believe that the President's confidence in me stems from the fact that he knows that I've been a very long time political player.
The Commingsburg Accord signaled a historic and watershed political development in Guyana. For many, it was seen as a decisive move to forge national unity. For the Government News Brief, I'm Shanta Goberdan reporting.
That has brought us to the end of this edition of the Government News Brief. I am Azim Khan. Remember that all our programs can be viewed on our website, YouTube channel, and on our Facebook page. On behalf of the GINA team, I wish you a happy and safe Diwali.